well, common sense at a gender ideology hearing in the UK this week, and I am shocked and amazed and also very encouraged.
Common sense, wow.
Yeah, this is where a leading member of parliament admits that the trans lobby is coming after gay kids, and the government should not be run by lobbyist groups, and further, they should rely on scientific research. What? What is this crazy talk? This is parliamentary member Kemi Badenoch. She says that the UK government is taking an evidence-based and principled approach on the trans issue. Now, this article on your screen right now is us being warned by trans lobbyists that she is a transphobic woman. This was from last year. They said that she was transphobic because she refused to pass legislation that would ban conversion therapy, which we're going to talk about in a second. And she also met with detransitioner Keira Bell in order to understand how children take hormones really young and can be harmed. We've talked about Keira Bell before. Keira Bell was put on cross-sex hormones, puberty blockers, and had breast removal very young. It was incredibly painful because that hurts and a lot. And then she said, you know, I just was a masculine girl. I just was what we would call a tomboy back in the day. Now, this member of parliament, Kemi Badenoch, she has been bullied over this issue quite a bit by the trans lobby. She, DGAF, if you know what I mean, doesn't give a flying fart. She just keeps coming at it from an evidence-based approach. And watch how she was received. Here she is addressing that meeting with Keira Bell.
In May 2021, against official advice, I will stress that officials said you should not have this meeting. I met a young lady called Keira Bell. She was a lesbian. Who told me the horrific experience that she had in the Tavistock clinic. It was an eye-opening experience. I know that the member for Kirkcaldy and Cowdenbeath talked about transing away the gay in his speech in Westminster Hall debate. We are seeing, I would say, almost an epidemic of young gay children being told that they are trans and being put on a medical pathway for irreversible decisions, and they are regretting it. That is what I'm doing for young LGBT children. I am making sure that young people do not find themselves sterilized because they are being exploited by people who do not understand what these issues are. And I am saying this on the advice of clinicians. I'm saying this on the advice of academics. There are clinicians from the Tavistock who have been whistleblowing, talking about what these issues are. The honourable man tells me that he is traumatized. We are traumatized by what is happening to young children, and we are not going to run away from this issue any longer.
So that man who was guffawing, like, no, you're traumatizing me by these words, telling me that a lesbian was hurt, was Member of Parliament Chris Bryant. And I mean, he just was so entitled to say, no, you're wrong about this. Nope, I'm not hearing it. And she's saying, yeah, you're going to keep hearing it because we can't be hurting kids. Now, about conversion therapy, she has rejected laws that would call anybody not affirming someone's gender ideology conversion therapy. So that is, we're talking in so many double negatives here that I just want to be clear. So if Clayton were to tell me I am a woman and I would say, no, you're not, you are a biological man, you're the father of my children, and I'm gonna, let's go talk to people to prove to you that you're a man, he would say, you're trying to do conversion therapy. That's how this is used right now, is that by not accepting my ideology, you're trying to convert me to what I am not. What they're using is old therapy of trying to convert a gay person straight. Clearly, it's not the same thing, right? And so what trans activists want is to say that not affirming gender ideology is conversion. She rejects that, and she thinks that it's unsafe to actually legislate that way. And here she is addressing that.
The Right Honourable gentleman asked a question about conversion practices. Can I just give a little bit more clarity about what it is we are doing? This is a longer answer than normal, but I know that this is a matter of deep interest across this House, so I would like to address my thinking fully. A commitment was given to publish a draft conversion practices bill for pre-legislative scrutiny. I am determined to meet this promise, as I know is the Minister for Equalities. Attempts at so-called conversion therapy are abhorrent and are largely already illegal. So what a bill would do is identify this as a particular threat to gay people and confirm the illegality of harmful processes intended to change someone's sexuality. In that time, since this bill was first promised, this issue has developed. Now, the threat to many young gay people is not conversion relating to their sexuality, but conversion relating to gender identity. Girls like Kira Bell, who were rushed onto puberty blockers by the NHS and had a double mastectomy, now regret the irreversible damage done to them. I believe that this is a new form of conversion therapy. Respected clinicians, like those who left Tavistock, have made clear they are fearful of giving honest clinical advice to a child, because if they do not automatically affirm and medicalize a child's new gender, they will be labeled transphobic. So whatever bill we do needs to address many of those issues, and that is why we are going to publish a draft bill.
Okay, so you guys, she is reclaiming the term conversion therapy. She's saying it's not conversion therapy to not accept someone's gender ideology. It's conversion therapy to push gender ideology on somebody. So if someone comes to you and they're a lesbian or an effeminate boy who will become a homosexual, and you say, you're not an effeminate boy who will become a homosexual, you are actually a woman, you're a trans woman, and we're going to convert your body into something it will never. And she's saying that's conversion therapy, and they're going to hate her for it, but I applaud it, because that is exactly what you're doing, is converting what would otherwise be a totally gay, a healthy gay person. And so this switcheroo is making people's heads spin, but she's done her homework. Further, she rejects this rhetoric saying that no child is born in, that a child is born in the wrong body. Watch.
I thank my right honourable friend for her question, and I certainly support any effort to clarify the law, and we should start from first principles. No child is born in the wrong body, and no child should be put on a pathway towards irreversible medical transition.
Yes, and further, she says she will not be bullied by Stonewall, which is a much discredited charity that is known to push kids right into medicalization of their bodies with any, they show any form of, like, a boy picks up a pink bat. That's it. Put him on the old penis chopper. Now, here's where she says Stonewall doesn't run this country.
And one of the issues that we have is that a lot of people do not understand the law where it comes to self-identification. We are providing clarity there. We have engaged with numerous LGBT groups, but the fact of the matter is that many of them support self-ID. That is not this government's policy. Stonewall does not decide the law in this country. Whatever it is that people want to campaign on, we will listen and we will hear. But we have been very clear about this. We have been very clear about this. And this is something that we are not budging on, and we are updating the law in accordance with government policy, and we will continue to do so.
All right. So she wants evidence-based, and she wants to decide based on democracy, not based on lobbyists. So that is shocking. And she said that. And so I want to applaud her saying that.
She deserves a round of applause from the
you heard all those
community.
Yeah.
You heard all those people going, hear, hear. I like that. Hear,
Right.
hear, hear,
Yeah.
hear.
Now, meanwhile, in the United States, I just want to turn quickly to the Republican debates that happened last night, because that is also an issue that is up for grabs in Republican politics, at least, about parental rights and all of that. I hate to see it, like, just yelled about in a debate after we just saw, like, such a mature way to present this. But that's where we are right now.
Well, Megyn Kelly, to be fair, Megyn Kelly, she has been vehemently opposed to this. She's been speaking out about it on her show regularly about these trans surgeries and gender affirming care. So she tried to get a question in, I think, around that specific, question, calling up something from Chris Christie's past. Yeah. When he was governor, basically allowing for this to happen, for parents to go around, schools to basically go around the parents, and these kids could go and get gender affirming surgeries. Yes, this was not maybe the most academic or evidence-based discussion of it, but at least it's on the table.
But mostly it just was a shouting match. I would like to see us move more towards something like this, but we've seen in the United States that trans activists have said that gender affirming care would never pass any kind of study or standards-based tests or any kind of academic research, because there is no proof that gender affirming care resolves gender dysphoria or makes anybody better or less anxious or anybody's body more healthy. There's no research about that. It hurts a lot, and anxiety and dysphoria persists. So we don't have that discussion yet. We have had hearings about it. We showed you some in the United States yesterday, but here's how it played out, at least on a debate stage. It's a bit wilder.
Here's my follow-up question. You talk about parental rights. Let's talk about them. When you were governor in 2017, you signed a law that required new guidelines for schools dealing with transgender students. Those guidelines required schools to accept a child's preferred gender identity, even if the minor's parents objected.
Not true.
And it said that there is no duty for schools to notify parents if their son or daughter changes their gender identity, allowing this serious issue to remain a secret between the school and a child. How is any of that pro-parental rights?
By the way, that's simply not true.
You're doing what you accuse me of, Chris. It's absolutely true.
That's simply not true. That's simply not true. That law was put into effect in 2018 and regulated in 2018 after I was out of office,
mandated the guidelines.
No, we did not, Megan. We did not issue those guidelines, and you're wrong about that. Simply wrong. I have stood up each and every time.
So I think if this is one issue that's disqualifying, it's this one.
I stood up every single time for parents to be able to make the decisions for their minor children.
But parents...
Every single time, parents should make those decisions. And by the way, you know what? Every once in a while, parents are going to make decisions that we disagree with. But the minute you start to take those rights away from parents, you don't know that slippery slope, what rights are going to be taken away next, and what's going to be focused on you.
As a parent, you do not have the right to abuse your kids. This is cutting off their genitals. This is mutilating these minors. These are irreversible procedures, and this is something that other countries in Europe, like Sweden, once they started doing it, they saw it did incalculable damage. They've shut it down.
Yeah, exactly. So it's child abuse. Why do we have like child protective services then, right? We have laws in place to protect children. So you mean to say that you have nothing to do with parents, and if they abuse their children? Like, I don't want, he was talking to him, he was conflating different. Yeah, I give parents the right to choose the school they send their kids to. That's different from, forcing children to get some sort of a transgender surgery. I mean, that's ridiculous. Go ahead, David.
Well, I was going to say, and now Child Protective Services will take your child if you don't mutilate them.
In California, yes, especially. Yeah. Oh. Absolutely. All right. Well, let us know what you think of this. Like I said, I was riveted by this MP, and she got herself, well, I already was following her on Twitter, so maybe you want to do the same. I'm not telling you, but let us know what you think.
Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.